welcome to the Catalyst Table, where real life leaders, parents, coaches, and purpose-driven people come to get aligned, hear God clearly, and step courageously into the life that they were created for. I'm your host, Leisa Jenkins, wife, mom of four, homesteader, entrepreneur, and someone who has lived a whole lot of life while trying to honor God, lead well, and love my people so deeply. Here at the Catalyst Table, we get honest about the things that actually affect our everyday life. The emotional clutter, leadership pressure, marriage and parenting, and stress. On every show, I am going to give you tools that will help you grow right where you are. Tools that you can apply in real life. So if you are ready to grow in the middle of your real, beautiful, messy life, pull up a chair. Let's get practical, let's get honest, and let's get started. Is social media bad? I think the reason that people are asking this is because there's such a huge movement right now telling everyone to turn it off. And listen, I am not against social media breaks. Social media breaks are very healthy, but I want to be really careful not to give all social media a bad name. Because social media itself is not bad. It can actually be very powerful. The difference is how we use it. So today we're going to instead ask the question, is social media bad? We are going to ask, is social media serving me or is it taking away from me? And by the end of this episode, you will have a simple plan to reset and use it with intention without extremes. So many people have opinions on this, and I could only imagine that you're sitting there thinking, well, it is bad. There's a lot of things happening on social media, Leisa, that just are like things that we don't want to see. Things that we don't want to hear. There are things that we just don't want to put in our brain space. And I get you. I'm the same way. I try to stay off social media as much as I possibly can. I don't want the negativity entering into my life, but not everything on social media is negative. I want to be very careful that we don't give all social media a bad name. Social media itself can be powerful. It is how we use it. It is what we do with it that makes the difference. I want you to think about your habits and what it is that you are specifically doing with social media. So, quick story. My husband gets on Facebook, and sometimes I'm in the kitchen and I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey, how's the day? How was work? And I look over and he's scrolling Facebook. And I'll look at him and I'll go, hey, let me know when you're finished with that. And I love to chat with you just about your day. I'm not rude about it. I'm not like, get off social media and start yelling at him. I'm trying to honor him and what he's doing. And so what he's watching is duck videos. He is getting a laugh. It's not like he's scrolling Facebook to pick out all the news things or what's going on in the world. And I'm not saying that he doesn't ever do that. I'm saying the majority of the time he's looking at duck videos because we have ducks. We have a mini homestead. So he finds them cute and funny and it just makes him laugh. So I reframe that and I look at that like maybe he needs that time. So while he's scrolling Facebook and he's looking at duck videos, it's making him laugh. So what is it that you're looking at? Is it humor? Is it something that's making you laugh? Is it something that's making you question yourself and your life? Is it something that keeps you up at night? Is it something that is moving you, or is it something that's making you take 10 steps back? And so you're the only one that can judge that. You are the only one that can say, yes, it is serving me, or no, it's taking away from me. Here's where it gets really tricky. I see influencers say, get off of social media, only social media is what supports them. And that alone causes a little bit of confusion. That's how they're getting the information out there. So why am I bringing that up? Well, I love those influencers and I love those experts and I love the people that are talking about it because they have really good information. If I get off of social media, how will I ever see them? How will I hear their message? How will I learn from them? They're telling you that social media is not good, that we need to take a break. But I also think that you need to know how. I want to give you practical tips where you don't have to just turn social media completely off, that you can still use it to be an asset for you and your family and the people around you. But let's talk about how it's affecting you. So, right now, I want you to do a self check. I want you to literally sit back in your chair and say, how is social media affecting me? Is it affecting my emotions? Is it affecting my focus? Is it making me compare myself? Is it causing stress? Am I lacking in my productivity because of the scroll? Am I making it a priority over my family? Am I making it a priority over the reading the Bible? Am I making it a priority over taking care of myself? So answer that and answer that honestly, because I want you to remember something. You're the one watching this podcast. Your information, the way that you answer it isn't going anywhere. So you don't have any reason not to be honest right now. So be honest with yourself. How is it affecting you? I had a client call me one day and she said, Leisa, there are some things that I really want to work on. And one of them is getting off of social media. I say it, I create a goal around it, and I tell myself that I am going to do it, but then I find myself back on it all the time. She said, and I hear so often we need to get off of it. It's interfering in our life. It's creating problems. It's not something that I should be doing. Well, if you listen, she's talking about all the stuff that other people are saying that she should not be doing. And I want her to reframe that and think for herself what she needs to be doing. So I asked her a few questions and I gave her a few tips. And I'm going to give you those same tips today. Because the answer that I gave her was not get off of social media, delete it off of your phone. It was not just start ignoring all the notifications. You might be surprised at what I actually told her to do. And we're going to talk about that as I give you some practical tips today. Then I had another client. We talked about this during his session with me. And he said, one of my goals is going to be not scrolling as much on social media, because when I scroll on social media, it's taking away from all the things that I want to do. And man, do I value that. So we talked about, well, what are the things that you want to do? What would you be doing instead of scrolling on social media? So he answered that question, and it was things that, yes, he needs to pay attention to. Yes, it's things that he needs to specifically be doing. But why can't he have both? The big question is social media serving him or is it taking away from him? So I'm going to give you the same suggestion that I gave him when social media becomes a problem. So while we're talking about this, I want to be really clear that social media can become a problem. Social media drains people. It makes people tired. It makes people frustrated. Why people feel like they can't measure up, why people feel like they will never be. And it is a battle that I do fight sometimes. I'm creating another thing for my audience. I'm trying to put an offer out there. I want to record a specific video. I flip on Facebook and what I see is somebody talking about the same exact thing that I want to be releasing. And all of a sudden I feel defeated. Well, that means that social media is controlling me instead of me controlling it. We're living in a world where there are no new ideas. We're living in a world where every everyone's doing the same thing. It's not about what you're putting out there. It's about the person behind it, how they're putting it out there. And that's what we need to pay attention to. But unfortunately, sometimes social media will get in my head and I know how to manage it. So it becomes a problem for me. It becomes a problem when we sit in our bed and we keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling instead of going to bed and getting some sleep. It becomes a problem when we grab it first thing in the morning instead of doing things like reading our Bible. It becomes a problem when we're complaining about our time and we're saying that we're too busy to go have coffee with someone. We're too busy to read our kids a book. We're too busy to have dinner with our kids. Only you spent 3 hours scrolling. That's when it becomes a problem. So what we need to talk about, the bigger conversation is, how do you have both? How can you make it work for you instead of just dismissing it, getting rid of it altogether? Because let me tell you, that won't stick. You will run into problems. I want to take a sidestep for just a minute, and I want to talk about how social media does interfere with our faith. Because we need to hear from God. We don't want God competing with all of this world noise. So we want to make sure that we are making time for the things that are priority, that we're getting out in nature and we're listening and we're making sure that we are hearing Him, not hearing all of the influencers before Him, not hearing all the experts before Him, not scrolling social media before Him. What are the priorities? When I hear people say, I don't have time to fit God into my life, and yet if I look at their screen time on their phone, they had 6 hours in screen time, 2 hours in watching a movie. That's when social media becomes a problem. This episode is not about making you feel bad for what you're doing or not doing on social media. It's meant to give you some perspective and to give you some practical tips on how to change that. Why? Because I want more for you in your life. I want you to be a catalyst and I want you to take your life to the next level. I want to see you use social media to do that. And in order to do that, we have to create a great relationship with social media, not get rid of it altogether. So how do we do this? How do we actually make it work? How do we focus on making social media work for us? Well, number one, I want you to have awareness around what you need and how it's affecting you. So I want you to really stop and think about that and process it. You're going to hear me so often say awareness is the solution, because once you're aware of something, you will solve it. You will fix it. So awareness is the solution. It is what your brain is longing for. It wants most people, when they have a problem, once they have awareness around it, they move forward. They move in the right direction. Not everyone, but for the most part, once you're aware of something, you don't usually go backwards. So I created what I call the information detox. That is my biggest tip for you today. It is something that I want you to grab and something that I want you to take advantage of. So what the information detox is a way for you to step back temporarily and get rid of the noise. Not just social media, all of the noise. When you go, and it'll be in the show notes, to grab the guide that I created, you are going to see in there that I'm talking about stepping back from everything as a whole, from the noise in the world, from your phone, from the opinions, from suggestions, from social media, from TV, from all of it. And only for 7 days. Why? Because you need to do a reset. You need to declutter your head and your heart and do a complete reset, because that's what helps you learn to control social media, to manage social media. Every once in a while, just like we detox our body, we need to detox our head and our heart. So when you take a break, it just clears things up and it helps you begin to think about what you need to control. It actually stimulates your brain. It helps you to hear more from God. It helps you to hear God clearly. Stepping back, not because social media is necessarily bad for you, but because doing a reset on your head and your heart will help you overall. So let's talk about what social media actually does for us. Social media is a powerful platform where you learn, where you can get educated, where you're introduced to people, where you find podcasts like this one, where you find another kitchen idea, where you find another tip, where you learn about the things in the world that you might need to try. Social media is packed with education and information. So I don't want you stepping away from that completely because it's the new age of learning. I learned so much on social media, and so does my husband. There is a great benefit because we will message each other back and forth with different recipes, with different things we want to try, with new garden tips. We're in like garden groups where we get all sorts of great information. Social media can be such a powerful asset. And if you are a leader, if you are an influencer, if you're a pastor, if you're a teacher, you have potential to reach people on a very, very, very big scale. Coaches, you can reach people on a big scale on social media, and I don't want you to step away from that. You have a great opportunity to use it in a very, very, very powerful way. So the information detox will help you temporarily do a reset. It'll help you step back and detox your head and your heart. It's going to help you declutter all of those voices and all of the stuff that we hear that's going on in the world today. But then what do you do when you come back from your 7-day information detox?
Remember those two stories that I told you about? I'm going to give you the same exact practical steps that I gave them.
When you jump on social media, number one, I want you to do it with intention. So if you find yourself just scrolling to be avoiding, that is a problem. But if you jump on with intention, I'm going to go look for this garden tip. I'm going to look up this specific thing. I'm going to check on my friend. That is with intention. I'm going to get on there and I'm going to comment on 10 people's posts because us as leaders, us as influencers and coaches, we need to be doing those things. I want you to be very intentional about I'm going to jump on and I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump on and look for a recipe. I'm going to jump on and find out if I have any messages. I'm going to jump on and post or schedule my post for the next 30 days. Be very, very intentional and then consume with intention. If you're a catalyst, if you're an influencer, be very, very careful with what you are putting inside of your head and heart when you are serving other people. So if you're consuming content that is negative, I want you to be very good at turning that off. I want you to consume things with intention to grow yourself or with intention to help the people that you're serving, with intention to help your family, with intention to help your kids, with intention to do things better at home. And be careful who you're getting that information from, because just because you're hearing from an influencer or an expert does not always mean that they are right. Okay, the next thing that I want you to do is grab a notebook. When you get on social media, I want you to write down the things that you learned. So what does that do for the brain? That helps your brain say, I did something good. I learned something today. It helps you to retrain your brain. It'll help you stay away from the negative language of, I wasted time today. I didn't get anywhere today. No, I want you to retrain that. I want you to use different language. And I want you to say, today, when I got on social media, I learned about a different recipe. I learned 3 tips for my garden. I learned from, and then name it. Like, what did you learn? Grab a notebook, put it in your phone. I want you to feel like social media is serving you instead of it's taking away from you. I want you to be really focused on that language. What kind of language are you using when you are scrolling social media? Are you sitting there scrolling going, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. What am I doing? If you're doing that, get off of it. But if you're focused and you're like, I'm learning, I'm getting another thing, I'm putting this into action, then I want you to write it down and consume with intention. If you find yourself saying, I'm wasting time on social media, if your family is complaining that you're always on social media, I want you to create some boundaries with social media. Don't deprive yourself. Gift yourself an hour after you make sure that you take care of your priorities, the things that are important to you, so that you don't have this negative language in your head. It's fueling you instead of taking away from you. Do emotional check-ins. I want you to get really good at doing an emotional check-in with social media. So after about a week of trying out some of these new things, I want you to have a little meeting with yourself and say, how are my emotions? Have I been happy? Have I been cranky? Have I been frustrated? Have I been in a better mood? Has it impacted me? Like, what is happening with your emotions? Do you seem like you're off? Do you feel like you're still wasting time? I want you to have a real emotional check-in with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Say no to content. So the last one is say no to content. Say no to content that's not serving you. We all get hung up on, my gosh, what's that story? What's going on with that? I think I should Google this. I need more information. You might, but say no to content that's not helping you, that you feel like might be hurting you. Now, how do you make this work with your family? Talking to your family about social media has such a negative tone to it, and we're constantly telling our kids, get off your phone, don't do that, don't do this. What are you scrolling? Why are you on your phone so much? Work on reframing that and saying, hey, what did you learn when you were on social media today? Let them know the steps that you're taking with social media and do it as a team. Reframe the way that you're talking to your kids about social media. Now, I am all for assertive parenting. So I'm not saying that you need to just let your kid be on social media all the time. I'm saying they're going to do what they see. Reframe the way that you're talking about it with them, you will see a humongous change. Kids do not like contradiction. So they do not like to hear from a parent who's telling them to get off their phone, get off of social media, and yet they watch their parent do that. That is contradicting, and it does not help the parent their child, and it does not help the child move forward in a very positive way. So I want you to think about that. What do you need to do with social media so that your child does that with social media? And then so often, again, another story I could keep on going today. I hear a lot of spouses get aggravated with their spouse about social media and scrolling, yet they're doing it too. And I will tell you that is not a fair conversation. Do not play the game. If you have a problem with it, you have a problem with it. If they have a problem with it, they have a problem with it. You need to do it as a team. You need to talk about how can we make these changes. So feel free to send them this episode today. Don't look at them and say, hey, you need to listen to this because you need to create better habits with social media. Reframe that and say to them, Hey, I listened to this great episode today on social media. It's really talking about whether social media is actually bad for us or if we can use it as an asset. You should check it out and see what your thoughts are on it. That's the language that you use with your partner, with your spouse, with your kids, with your neighbors, with your friends. That is what helps create movement. Hey, the 7-day information detox guide is in the show notes. I will link resources that I talked about today in the show notes. I want you to be able to control social media instead of social media controlling you. I am so honored that you listened to this episode today, and I truly hope that you were able to take something out of it. And if you were, I want to hear from you. Let me know what action steps you are going to be taking. And as always, if you need support, I am here for you. I will read the comments. I will email you back. I want to hear from you. Let me know what action you plan on taking, and let me know how I can pray for you. Let me know how I can support you. And I cannot wait for you to join next week, because next week we are talking about the Catalyst year. So how do you set your year up for a win? How do you make sure that you get the most out of your year? And I will give you a tip. It's not all about vision and goals, although we will talk about that, but you are going to get the exact process that I teach entrepreneurs, leaders, and coaches so that they can win, so that they can have a successful year. It is something that I use over and over again, and I cannot wait to share that with you. We'll talk next week.